Hello and welcome to another episode of Trailblazers Rising. I'm so excited to bring my guest to you today. We have known each other for a little while now, and what some could call in our past lives here on Earth just a few years ago, a true testament to how much people actually can transform. Katelynn Taylor, what a meteoric rise to success that you have to share with us today. Welcome. Say hello.
Hello. I get chicken skin when you say that.
I mean, it's very exciting. I've been watching your
Mama.
journey and happily being a part of it from whatever level that I am in my brain and in your brain, because those are two different realities. But tell everybody the magic that is your incredible company.
Yeah. Business partner and I launched Good Ass Hair Day dry shampoo on February 22nd, 2023. So I guess 11 months ago, give or take. We started with a 500 bottle launch and we bought 15,000 bottles last week. So if that says anything, I just have chicken skin. I'm so proud and so grateful, and it's just really been incredible.
I think you've just given me a great idea. Instead of girl math and boy math and all of that, we have entrepreneur math, because that is
Yeah.
freaking incredible.
Yeah. Yep.
That is incredible. Now, I am a real natural girly, a holistic girly. I know it doesn't always look like it because I have pink and purple hair and I wear drag queens amount of makeup, because ultimately they are who I'm trying to look like. They are my inspiration. So your product as dry shampoo is very different. And before anybody says anything, there are a lot that, just so everybody knows, there are lawsuits, class action lawsuits happening right now for a lot of the mainstream aerosol dry shampoos that are still on the shelves. So tell us about Good Ass Hair Day and just how incredibly different your product and your company are.
Yeah. So it is between between 5 and 6 ingredients, excuse me. We have the OG, which is what we started with, that is scented with a vanilla essential oil and unscented as well, because I am a migraine girly and I do not like things to be scented. Although I do love the OG vanilla. It is amazing. It's all natural. It's non-aerosol, but it still poofs out of the bottle, which is amazing, especially for application. And my favorite part is the fact that I get to teach my following how to use it, how to style their hair. That's something that I've been doing for years on TikTok. And last November, actually, a year ago, is when my business partner messaged me and was like, yo, should we make a dry shampoo? And I was like, well, I'd be an idiot to say no to that. So we got it started and launched in February, and here we are.
So I will say, you are speaking to my chronically ill heart. I did just find out something about migraines. If any of you know me or
Mm,
have ever worked with me, you know that I factor in at least 2 hours a day of research,
mm,
because I just have to know everything that I possibly can about everything that I am interested in. So the list goes on and on. But chronic illness has really taken over my research sphere,
mm.
because at this point, there are a lot of comorbidities with ADHD and autism that really just seem to me, from an energetic perspective and an energy healer perspective, as the physical manifestation of CPTSD, ADHD, and autism. Like, you can really just put all of us together. And I don't think that a late in life diagnosis of ADHD and autism, either or, comes without a CPTSD
Mm.
diagnosis. So, as a migraine sufferer myself too, which, did you know, migraine symptoms and migraine disorder, whatever the correct name is actually kind of like epilepsy. So it's not
Mm.
just you have a migraine, you always have the migraine disorder,
Mm.
but the headaches and the physical manifestation of it is the cycle that we have to try and get out of. So the same way an epileptic has maybe a few seizures a year, they're still epileptic even when that's not happening. So I didn't know that about migraines. And I didn't experience my first migraine until the past couple of years, and it was ocular and crazy and horrible. So the scented thing
Mm.
is so important, because I don't think enough people out here understand the way that these unnatural scents can affect our endocrine system and whatnot. So, as a migraine sufferer, how do you handle this meteoric rise that's
Uh,
happening? You went from hustling to get everything up off the ground to now how are you keeping up with orders?
Yeah. Well, I have people, and something that I have learned or been learning, specifically probably in the last 4 or 5 months, is how important it is for me to ask for help. So we have 2 employees, which is incredible. That's going to be my word of the podcast, is just incredible. We have 2 employees, and between Becca and I, we have different roles, of course, between the two of us. We also have other people like my mom and friends and this and that that we reach out to, and I ask for help when we need it. 100%.
That's fantastic. So building a team
Yeah.
is something that we talk about to our students at the Neurospicy Academy all the time because there's more to throwing people at a problem and hoping they're going to fix it,
Sure.
especially as a founder. If you are a founder, you need to understand, and Qasim Awesome, his last name, he talks about this frequently too. Nobody is ever going to work on your company as hard as you are.
Yeah.
Ever. Unless you are giving them a portion of your company, you cannot ever expect anybody else to work as hard as you're going to. So we don't want to get stuck in that cycle of, okay, well, I'll just do it myself because you guys aren't going to do it well enough and that sort of thing. Because then it makes enjoying the success very difficult if you're strapped to your business every single day and you don't get to go vacation and have a good time. And it makes actually going on vacation and enjoying yourself very difficult if you're always calling and checking and if you're like anticipating the worst thing to happen. So now that you've built your team, what is the biggest challenge that maybe you saw coming and maybe you didn't see coming?
I guess for me, I'd probably say just like relaxing and sitting back and letting them take care of it. I am working on it, and I need to just trust the process.
Yeah. What has been the biggest shift in your like day-to-day life going from 500, units to 15,000? Like what's the biggest OMG, this is not how it used to be?
Continually trying to plan for the future and it just not being possible. Like in the last week, I've said to the gal who makes the dry shampoo, like puts it into the bottles. The one thing that we're always saying to each other is like, if we can just get ahead or if we can just get this stock or yada, yada. And I'm like, that terminology needs to be out of our mouths. It is just not possible. And as soon as we get 500 bottles on the shelf, they're gone. We have more than 500 orders going out today. And so I'm like, rather than like living in the future and trying to say, like, if we get this stock, if we get this taken care of, yada, yada, then, we'll be at a point where we can relax or whatever. And I'm like, we need to take one day at a time. We need to focus on efficiency and getting as much done as possible and just do our best and do what we can.
Yeah. We've actually been talking about standard operating procedures and SOPs between my business partner, Christina at the Neurospicy Academy, and us rolling out new things that are happening over there for, different membership types and how much access they're going to get. And we've really had to, it comes in waves of, okay, we have to create this whole infrastructure and this whole system so that our foundation is really, really good. But that's hard to get our brain to do because it's not the rewarding work. There's not the instant bing, bang, boom, look at this motherfucking stuff to get all that work in. But it is so incredibly important because you have to create the frameworks and the standard operating procedures so that you can bring in more people and point to this thing. And I'm a rebel. Listen, I got PDA autism. I don't want anybody telling me what to do. And I don't want to tell other people what to do because I don't give a shit. I want it done and I want it to look like this when it's done. Figure it out. Whatever's going to make you the happiest. But we can't do that as CEOs and leaders unless we have a business partner that wants to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's really nice too to have like champagne problems and to realize that stress exists no matter what's happening with your business revenue. If you're bringing in a whole shit ton of money that you didn't even dream you were going to be able to make, there are stressors that come with that and responsibility. So my hat's off to you for being in charge of, other people and not worrying every single day about, oh my God, are we going to be able to? Because as much as anybody else, that's going to hold you back.
Yeah. Yep.
So what would you say? Words are so hard. I'm so excited. What mindset shift, since I am a business mindset coach, you've adopted just through like practice? Because that has happened to me where I'm like, oh my God, if I'm dealing with okay, got to think about this differently. So like what sticks out to you?
I guess when you say that, for me, I'm a very like team-based person, and the fact that I have a business partner, like we are going back and forth every single day as to how we can be more efficient, what needs to be done, and it's a very team-based mindset. And even all of us, like there's 4 of us that work at the company, I will say, and all of us are very I'm open to anyone's ideas, like I'm very open-minded, and I think that there's not just one way to do things. And so getting everybody's brains on how we can be better, like ultimately my customer is the most important. And that's what I care about. And I just want to say that the other day we met with someone for merch and she's like, "What's your goal here?" And I'm like, "I want cool shit for my customers to buy." And like, other than that, it just doesn't matter to me. Like, I love them. I'm so grateful for the support, and I just want to continue to provide really amazing things for people out in the world. So I think it's really falling back on the positive mindset that I have worked so hard to curate. And when shit gets tough and I feel like it's just like, I don't know, everything's exploding and I don't know what to do. Excuse me, I don't know what to do. It's grounding myself, reminding myself how grateful and proud I am and all the positive things that are happening and like rerouting, and yeah, it's all good.
So, how do you factor in self care
Mm,
and rest? And I hate to say the word balance because it's more about harmony, because we know as entrepreneurs, and if some of us are moms and some of us have people that live with us and all, like there's so many
yeah.
placed on women that there are going to be times where the business is more important than the personal life. And then there's going to be other times where the personal life is more important than the business,
Yep.
and finding that harmony and really tapping into what our energetic and mental and emotional and physical needs are. How do you take care of yourself so that you can continue leading?
Okay, so my life has changed like in this past week, and I think it has to do with the eclipse at the very end of October and things shifting and whatnot. And I have been reading the 5 a.m. Club for a bit now, but I've gotten to the point where it's like really honing in on the things that we need to do. And for this last week, I've gotten up at 5 a.m. and it is amazing. I have never had so much energy. And the things that it's talking about is like having your team of people that help you. I'm just going to say, keep it all together. And it's talking about like, a massage therapist, a spiritual person that helps you stay on track, like financial things, like all of this stuff. And so I get massages, I have craniosacral therapy, I journal, I have calendars that help me keep shit together. Like for me, I think again, it's reaching out to other people to help me stay sane. And this whole 5 a.m. thing, it says own your morning, elevate your life. And I am about it.
What time were you getting up before all this?
I was getting up at 6, so just an hour later, and I didn't really have like I had my things that I would do in the morning, but it wasn't specific. And this is like you spend 20 minutes exercising, you spend 20 minutes reflecting, journaling, figuring out how you want your week to go, and you spend 20 minutes reading a book, researching, like learning about something. And yeah.
That's so good. Now, as a firm believer in non-negotiables,
Mm,
right? And flexible morning systems and nighttime systems and all that, we all know that I love a routine that works no matter your energy level, which means it's flexible, and we reverse engineer it by saying, what outcome do I want? Okay, now what am I able to do to like get that outcome, right? I have the energy to just take the makeup off my face with a makeup wipe. I don't have the energy for an 8-step skincare routine, right?
yeah.
Whereas other nights, I can do all sorts of lotions and potions and a face mask and make my husband do one and all that, but it just depends on the day. So the 5 a.m. is so interesting because I love 5 a.m. I love 5 a.m. except for during my luteal phase, which
Mm,
is the phase as a PMDDer and a PCOSer and an endometriosis girl, along with all of my other conditions that I have that are chronic. The luteal phase of your period is actually twice as long as all the other phases, because you only, your ovulation is 4 to 5 days, your follicular is 5 to 7 days, right? And I can now actually feel I call it the darkness come over me when I switch from ovulatory to luteal, and I'll like tell my husband, I'll be like, hey, the darkness is here. Don't argue with me about anything. Just tell me, maybe I'm hungry or maybe I need to go lay down, right? Let's not take it personally. I don't like to be in her head any more than you like to hear what comes out of her fucking head when she's here. So, and then I can feel the lightness come back over me when I get out of my period. So, how do you anticipate, because you've been doing this for a week?
Yeah.
How do you anticipate being able, do you think, cool, this is something I can do all the time? Or are you going to be like, maybe 7 a.m. is more likely for some days?
With how I've felt this week, I'm like, I am on it. I'm feeling so inspired and empowered. I've got to get the working out under control. I'm like doing some sit-ups and push-ups.
You've been doing some stuff. I've seen it
Yeah.
on your social media. I
Yeah.
swear I've seen you walking or something. How's it going?
Oh,
How
yeah.
long
Oh,
have you
and
been-
I had been running for a while, and now it's like freaking cold outside. So the working out is what I've got to kind of get together. But everything else, I'm like, if I feel as good as I've felt this entire week, all the time, like 5 o'clock is no question. But I also am a firm believer in some grace. And so I will have to kind of be aware of my cycle phases. And if there's ever a point that I'm exhausted and need just some extra rest, because rest is so important. So,
yeah. No, that's so good. There's a lot of research out there too that I have been looking at because it's very appealing. So I hope they don't disprove it because I really like it. But the research says that you get the most benefit from intense exercise if you do it for very, very short periods. So, you sprint for a minute or two and then you stop so that your nervous system doesn't stay in that heightened, we're being chased by a tiger phase, right?
Yep.
So it's just enough and then you're safe. Just enough and then you're safe. And that there's an episode of this actually on Mel Robbins' podcast. She interviewed a guy who, yeah, I know, love her. She interviewed a guy who wrote the book on walking, and he did all sorts of research and combed through all sorts of research. And I am so happy to report that walking is always better than slow running. Bitch!
nice. All right. I can do it.
Free me from the shackles of thinking I'm ever going to have to be a motherfucking runner. Please, I don't want to. You can run. I need rollerblades or something, though. It's just not going to happen for me. It makes my
Fair.
skin itchy. It makes things not, I just can't do it. So finding out that fast walking is always more beneficial overall than slow running, I was like, okay, look at your girl go. I've been walking for a whole year.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, because recently, so this month, we're filming this in November, is the 1 year anniversary of me not drinking anymore.
Ooh, proud of you. Congratulations.
I was a person who used drinking as a masking tool, as a being able to be around people that actually really alarmed my nervous system. Like, I definitely saw alcohol as a tool. And did I always use it correctly? No, not at all. But I'm so happy to report that, like, last November, I woke up hungover for the last time and I just said, this doesn't work for me. This is not serving me. I don't feel great when I'm drinking. I don't feel great afterwards. I want to be able to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and feel fantastic. And it's really just not serving me anymore. And I said, we're not doing this anymore. And I just don't miss it.
Yeah. I haven't drank
Just
for
don't miss it.
years. I'm not.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just doesn't look appealing anymore. But what I have noticed, it has made me acutely aware of how conditioned we are to use alcohol with everything.
I'm from Wisconsin, okay?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just if we could
I mean-
start questioning things a bit and just be more aware of the things we do on autopilot, I think we'd be better off.
Yep, because that's what, I watch shows all the time. My ADHD brain is made much more comfortable and slows down and doesn't go to the dark place. If I have a show playing in the background when I go to sleep now, I always have my headphones on and I watch one of my comfort shows. So instead of telling myself that I have to go to bed and I have to go to sleep and I have to like fall asleep and because it takes me forever to fall asleep, I just go to bed to hang out with my friends now. And I got a contraption that holds my phone up and out of the way so I can roll around and do whatever I want. The volume is on the lowest possible setting. And normally they push off my head so I can't hear them all night anyway. But it just takes all of the pressure off of, you have to sleep for this amount of time or you're going to be fucked, right? Like, it's just cool. Let me just go lay down. If I sleep, I sleep. If I don't, I don't. I'm just hanging with my friends. So that's been one of the most transformative things because I had been using like alcohol to be able to fall asleep.
Sure. Yeah.
Which I just feel like so many people, like you said, are doing things on autopilot. They come home from work and it's time to pour the drink. Gonna go hang out with friends, time to pour the drink.
Yeah.
And what I wish people knew is that it's a literal poison. from the moment that alcohol goes into your body is trying to dispel the alcohol from.
Yeah. I thought that to myself a while ago. I was like, if anybody ever questions me as to why I don't drink, like, that's the most simple answer. It's literally poison. It makes me feel like hell. I'm already prone to migraines and it's a trigger. And so I'm like, I don't even miss it. I don't even think about it. It's not, I make mocktails like it's my day job and I love it. So,
Yeah, it's so good. So tell me about the future.
mm,
What is happening for Good Ass Hair Day? You mentioned something about merch.
yeah.
What is it that we have to look forward to?
Um, we are looking forward to many more products. We are getting the ball rolling on I probably shouldn't say what it is. Yeah. I'm getting the ball rolling. I have a meeting today with someone who is formulating a new product for us because that is out of our wheelhouse. And we're doing products, we're doing fun merch, and the fact that our business is called A Good Ass Day and we have Good Ass Hair Day, we are truly just trying to spread good in the world, and anything we can do to make people happy and give them good things is really what we're trying to do.
Now, since you started with Drive Shampoo,
Mhm.
I'm going to assume part of your story that landed you to this point was the struggle of self care.
Yeah, and I think probably the biggest thing is I feel so much better when my hair is done, and I don't want people to feel like they're the one that, like, doesn't know how to style their hair, and so I've been thinking of it as, like, teaching my following that your hair is truly a hobby, in my opinion, and you could spend probably, like, an hour a week focusing on teaching yourself to style your own hair, and then it becomes something that you're like looking forward to and enjoying versus like, oh, I just have this hair and it just is what it is. And I'm like, it builds your confidence. You feel better about yourself. And that truly is my goal, is to help people feel better about their hair.
Yeah. Because listen, styled hair, whether it's just a slicked back bun or
Yep.
pony or anything like that, or it's big and wild, I'm a big proponent of big and wild. I love that shit. I didn't put all my fake hair on for you today, and I'm sad that I didn't, but I just didn't have it in me. I got to work on the computer all day after this. I just don't have it in me. But there are ways to use dry shampoo that are for styling and don't have anything to do with not washing.
100%.
So you're good at showing people how to use your product, especially for styling on your social media channels.
Yep.
Do you have a background as a hairdresser?
So I graduated from the Aveda Institute in Minneapolis and teen. I moved to Hawaii and I worked behind the chair for 4 years. I came back to Wisconsin. I got back behind the chair again. I tried to live in a van for a while. I wanted to travel the country and do people's hair and whatever. That was a long time ago. Didn't really work out. And I just got to the point where working behind the chair and like working for someone else, I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. And so I started TikToking and like freelancing, just kind of getting the bills paid, doing whatever I had to do. And then finally landed on the dry shampoo. And I feel like that's really where my like niche and passion is teaching other people how to style their hair. And I will say that the not washing every day, of course, I get tons of comments from people saying, like, I just can't do it. Like, I have to have clean hair. And my thing is like day one hair never styles how anyone wants it to, as far as I'm concerned. So get to that day two, day three hair, and your style is going to be better. You're soaking up the oils. You're not having to spend the time showering, washing it, blow drying it, and it's really something that if you're willing to put a bit of time and effort into it, you can work at it and get to the point where you're going 5 days without washing your hair and your hair looks fucking amazing every single day because you're just reworking it rather than washing all the goods out of it and having flat ass, boring hair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was platinum blonde before I was pink and purple. And I had done platinum blonde for 10 plus years because it was just easy. I'll just do my roots. I'll just do my roots, la, la, la. And then while I was working at the restaurant that shall not be named, the corporate rule was always you cannot have unnatural hair color. And I was pushing that rule because I would add pink to my hair for Halloween. And then I'd be like, oh my God, I don't know. It didn't wash out. Well, I was like, right. But I found out after COVID, when everybody went back to work, I was part of, or I think it was my friend at the time, was part of all the Facebook groups for that restaurant, like just staff members and stuff, because we had gone through so much hullabaloo trying to get unemployment during the shutdown. Like it was a wild and crazy time. But somebody on that national Facebook page posted the memo that was intercompany that said visible tattoos are fine and unnatural hair colors are fine. My management team didn't tell anybody that that happened. They were trying to keep it under wraps because they were controlled by a very patriarchal person. Anyways, who wanted to control all the women and have them all look the way that he wanted them to look, which is ridiculous. Anyways, so I found it and I screenshotted it you know what I mean. And I walked in and I said, "What's this?" And every manager that was there went, "Where'd you find that? Where'd you get that?" And I said, "I'm not hearing that. This isn't true. Is this true?" And they're like, "How'd you get it?" And I said, "That we're not going to talk about that. Is it true?" And they said, "Yep." The next day that I was in that restaurant to work, I had pink hair.
Nice. Yes. Fuck that shit. What my hair.
Like, you can't tell me what to do with my hair, but now that I am this, I can't wash it every day.
Yes. Yes. Preserves your color. Like, there are so many benefits to not washing your hair. And I could stand on a soapbox and bark about it all day long.
I'm telling you. So that brings me to another good question. As an entrepreneur who's very active on social media, how do you handle the fucking trolls, the fucking haters, the people that like go? I'm sure that you can identify with the cooking creators who will say this is a garbanzo bean dish. And somebody will go in and go, "Well, what do I do if I don't like garbanzo beans?" Go to the next fucking video. I don't know, buddy. Talk about it with your therapist. What do you want? How do you handle the irrationality in your comment?
Okay, well, I'm going to start by saying that my following, like, I wish that I could just give them all a hug because my people have got my back and I am so fucking grateful for it. I will go into a video that I haven't been able to get to for a few days and I will find that my following is answering other people's comments, like with their own review of the product or like sticking up for me or whatever it may be. That's just complete and utter support. And so when it comes to people who like want to be shitty or, you know, have a different opinion or whatever it is, if I'm being perfectly honest, I don't get a lot of it. I really don't, which I'm so grateful for. But when and if that does happen, sometimes I'm a deleter. Sometimes I am just going to delete your comment and act like it didn't happen and move on with my life. Other than that, sometimes I will respond and like say to people like, whatever you're saying is rude. It's not welcome here. Like, please leave. But yeah, for the most part, I really am just super fortunate and it doesn't happen all that often.
I love that for you. I had a moment probably 6 months ago where a group of men, I don't know what you call them. I ended up having to block a bunch of men. Were like trying to attack me for, you know, you have no right to talk about mental health and ADHD. And I was like, we don't talk about mental health. We talk about mindset. It's a totally different thing. Also, an ADHD or an autism or both diagnosis is not mental health related. It's just your neurotype. So understanding your neurotype is an important thing, you know, blah, 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 da, 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 da. But they were, there was one in particular guy who was, I just started talking back to him. He was commenting some bullshit and I was just commenting back and forth with him. And we ended up with the conversation, like we had gone back and forth so many times and I like confirmed what he said and he confirmed what I said. And like we got onto the same page
All right.
to the point where I was like, "All right, have a great night, buddy." And he was like, "Okay, you too, friend." And I was just like, "What the fuck is even happening here? Like, what Twilight Zone am I in?" So I do believe that it's so important to have that ability to trust your gut and that intuition and be able to tap into that inner guidance and be like, "Okay, I know that I'm safe to talk to this person or I should just ignore this person or anything like that." Because we don't have the time and energy to be second guessing everything.
Yes, 100%. I completely agree. And what that also makes me think about is people who are going to listen to this, we have the OG version, we have the unscented version, and we are working so hard on launching a dark version of dry shampoo.
Yeah.
And what that makes me think about is some people who have dark hair will buy our OG. And although we have thousands of reviews from people saying that it poofs into your hair seamlessly and you can't see it, I'll have people that say like, it leaves my hair white or, you know, negative comments about it. And I'm like, we gotta look at this and we have to be honest. And you can't tell me that you're gonna look at a product that's white and think that it's just going to be able to go into your hair and not be seen. Like that is just as
Yeah.
unrealistic as it gets. And so I'm like, I've made videos before where I'm like, you need to massage it in. You need to not apply it directly at your part. Like I'm just being honest with you. And like, I need you to be honest back with me. Like, we need to get the expectations under control a little. And I am just trying to be obviously my most authentic self. And I'm going to be real with you and any of the people that I deal with in my messaging that are having trouble with like getting their package or they only got one bottle and they were supposed to get two. Like, of course, we fuck up sometimes. And I'm like, you're talking to me and I just want the best for everybody. So let me know what I can do. And we're working together
Yeah.
here.
So I heard a really valuable piece of advice for business owners. And this works whether you have a service or you have a physical product.
Okay.
And it is that in every interaction of between a customer and an owner where it did not go according to plan,
Yep.
where there is a complaint, one person is always going to be super duper duper mad and the other person is going to try to minimize. So if a customer comes to you with your dry shampoo,
Yep.
good ass hair day, they say, listen, I need a refund XYZ. If you choose to respond by saying, oh my God, that's terrible. I'm so sorry that happened to you. That's not what we are about. I hope that you don't judge us based on this. Oh my God, I hope that you really give us a chance to redeem ourselves. We're so sorry. If you are the one that goes ape shit, they are forced to be the one that goes, no, like really, it's okay. Like really, because as business owners, our first reaction is to minimize and to be like, oh, I don't know how that could happen. That never happened. Da, 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 da. And so you're just paving the way for that person to be the one that goes ape shit.
I'm not a minimizer. I don't think anybody that I've ever reached out to, I hope I'm not doing that because if I fucked up, I want to know about it and I want to make it right because I just want you to be happy. You're my customer. So,
yeah. So, really taking that. And I see that with some of the companies that I order stuff online from that are not on Amazon, right? Kava being one of them. I love them. Shout out to them at Laughing Lions Kava in Colorado. But I know that when I message them and I say, hey, la 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 da da da, whatever it is, they are so gracious, so fast at responding, take care of everything. Tell me what I need to know, all that sort of stuff. And that really makes such a difference. And we just, I was in restaurants for so long before. My first reaction was always to be like, oh, it's not a big deal. But like, if I make it a big deal, that other person has to fall in line and be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is great. I'm so glad that you're doing this. Like, it really wasn't even that big a deal. So just a little piece of advice to everybody listening. Always be the one that says, hey, I'm so sorry that happened, because then they can't scream.
yeah, 100%. Makes sense.
Is so important. What do you do to keep your energy right? So you get massages. Are you taking enough breaks? If you're waking up early, does that mean you're going 9 nights early too? Because you can't be staying up till midnight and then waking up at 5. That's not sustainable.
Oh no, sis is in bed by like 9:30, 10 o'clock, no later. What am I doing to take care of myself? The biggest thing was hiring another person. For about like a month and a half, I was at the shop every single day, like hands on, get her done, whatever. I had to be there. And then I got to a point where I was like, I fucking hate this. Like, who can I pay to do what I'm doing so that I can get back to TikToking, taking care of myself, whatever else? And so I found somebody that I trust and love to work for my business. And that has freed up a lot of time for me to get back to what I actually want to be doing. And also promoting my product because that is huge on TikTok. So,
yeah, tell us a little bit about TikTok Shop, because man, you jumped in at the right motherfucking time. Do you have any tips for anybody who's thinking about partaking in TikTok Shop?
Yes. The answer is yes. If you're questioning whether or not your business should be on TikTok Shop, the answer is yes. There are a lot of learning curves, of course, but none of it that can't be figured out. Two, it's the TikTok Shop is for the buyer 100%. So there are some things as far as the seller that I'm like, I don't love that. The success that we've had on TikTok Shop has just been incredible. And the fact that I have a product that other creators can share about and also make money is like, I love that. I'm like, I want you to win. Like, that's really what I care about. And so if I've got something that you love and you're going to tell your people about it, I want to be able to compensate you for that. And that's just a really fucking awesome perk of the platform.
Yeah. Yeah. Affiliate programs are fantastic. We have one at the Neurospicy Academy too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Get in on this,
Mhm.
guys. Yeah. For real. For real. For real. For real. Oh my God. It's been so fantastic having you on the show. If you had one piece of advice to leave my listeners with, what would it be?
Start getting up at 5 o'clock and seize the motherfucking day.
Yeah. You heard her. Yeah. All right. So we will make sure that in the show notes, everybody knows where they can find you, but tell them verbally here now before we leave.
Yes, I am on TikTok at Confidence with Katelynn. You can find our product on Etsy, probably by searching dry shampoo, I would imagine. And then we are also on our website, of course, which is agoodassday.com.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here. And I love all of you equally and for different reasons. Do your research and take care of yourself. And we'll talk again real soon.
Amazing. Thank you for having me. Bye.